Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and marvelous speakers, welcome to the World Speakers Series. Welcome to the Four Points by Sheraton Hotel. Tonight is a very special night because you are here. Because you're concerned about the current affairs. You're concerned about what's happening to our stock market. You're concerned about which way America is heading. You're concerned about how will the Iran-Israeli war will impact us. We are here to provide you some judgments and opinions which will hopefully benefit you. Without further ado, let's have a little bit of prayer by Dr. Ugochi for world peace.
Thank you very much. As we gather here this evening on the margins of war and conflict in the Middle East, it's inherent that we pray for the Middle East.
Move the mic, we don't hear anything. Yeah. Okay, good.
It's inherent that we pray for the Middle East and indeed zones of conflict. The winds of war are blowing across the globe. Let me just speak about it. The winds of war are blowing across the globe. We're on the brink of a third world war. As in the book of Luke says, from chapter 21, verse 9, "For you shall hear wars and commotions. Be not terrified, for these things must come first to pass. But the end is not nigh. Nations shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, and lift up your head, for your redemption draws near." As we're about to commence the World Speaker Series this evening, let this conference room be covered by the presence of God. Let us all come together in a united spirit of body and mind. Let any negativity and chaos be far from this timely meeting. For when we're in Ephesians, it says that, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Let all the presentations be guided by the hands of God, without whom we are mere human beings, flesh without substance. Let us be in one body and mind. We pray for wisdom and spiritual guidance. God bless the United States of America. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sorry for the mic. We are here about to begin a very exciting journey, a journey about 2 hours. I hope it will change you, impact you forever. We are at a time where we don't know what's happening. It's happening so fast, 10x speed, and we need to be able to focus ourselves and see which way we are going. We don't want to go to the wrong path. But sometimes we are swept by current affairs and by dictatorship and by what's happening in the world, war, economic troubles, and many things. But again, crisis is also opportunity if you can make the best of it. So we now start by learning from the two most well-known multi-billionaires in the world history, the most well-known figure in the financial world. Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller, and Nathan Rothschild. We will play the story of John D. Rockefeller and Nathan Rothschild, which has big relevance to today's. And I hope you can draw the example from them and learn from these two most wise and rich men. We will start by beginning to play the story of John D. Rockefeller.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elvis. Before we do that, I'd like to recognize Elvis Newman, which is our MC, and Dr. Ugochi and myself, two lawyers, will co-host this event. And we talk about peace. We're talking about Dr. Ugochi just read the mass, just read the prayer for peace. Here, you cannot take away the voice from an announcer. You cannot. So pray for peace, and obviously, It seems to me find the right corner. Here I am. Okay. I want to thank God for my friends and our partners to be here today, like Professor Leah Gloria, who was in Dubai with me, and Dr. E, we worked together in Dubai. So we are fortunate to have come back to America. And we came, basically, I was a little more lucky that I came before, and they got stuck there. But thank God, But thank God they were able to come back safe. So we thank the Lord to have Professor Gloria back and Dr. E from Dubai, and also our other friend Jeff. We are missing Jeff. Sure enough, let me try this one. Woohoo. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it's yeah, Isam. Yeah, Isam. All right. Yeah. And so we want to thank the Lord for having these people back, because I was in contact with them every day in Dubai. We were really worried about them since the war started, and we were there, and they were warning me, but I never understood that was going to happen. We are here today, and there's 4 points. We want to thank our friend George with his wife Lily for giving us this opportunity to speak in this beautiful hotel. So we are happy to be here today with the World Speaker Series program with the Boston International Business School. So we are here today. We also want to thank our friend, our lawyer, Alan, is always with us, giving us the proper advice. Oh my God, what's wrong with this mic? I never told you. 1, 2, yeah. Okay. It seems, I don't know, there's something with the connection. Because, yeah, I have to move in the right direction. Yeah. Over here. I want to recognize also my colleague Isabel, who is a very good MC stand-up. We have done the World Peace Conference, and she introduced me, and that's how I get to know her. We're going to do soon a show at Lincoln Center promoting Chinese culture. Okay, how are we doing, Jason? You're the technician. Yes, I gotta find the right corner here. I'm not moving from here if I have 2 mics, okay? Yeah, Isam, say okay, and Elvis, I know he was talking about what's happening in the world right now, which is really scary. When people usually sell everything, they're afraid of that something is going to happen, so they sell everything, and somebody along the way is going to get rich. And that's the story that our friend, host Elvis Newman was talking about before, that people in 1929, before the Wall Street crash, right? Before the Depression came in 1929, basically, they were a shoeshine boy. Where's the shoeshine boy? Here. Okay, there was a shoeshine boy meeting John D. Rockefeller, which was a very rich man. He became, the oil tycoon, and the other one was Rothschild. And so these 2 people became very rich by mistake, by coincidence. And I think that the boy there, the little boy, met Rockefeller, and come here, we improvise as something like a play, I'm supposed to be John D. Rockefeller, even though my office was at Rockefeller Center, at Trump Tower. I worked for Trump, so it was right at Rockefeller Center area. And Dr. Lugosi was also my assistant in 1929. So there's a little boy there. All of a sudden, the boy came was shining his shoes. I was sitting down, sitting down, basically waiting for the Depression. And I see this little boy coming by. You want to shine my shoes, And I said, what the hell are you doing? He's shining my shoes, this and that. But he was so nice, I really took care of him. So I gave him a tip, because he's giving me a clue. He's telling me to buy stocks. It's really crazy. People selling stocks right now. Nobody's buying stocks. Everybody is selling stocks. So I give him a tip. And back those days, $100, for $100. Elvis, how much was $100 in 1929?
In 1929, a family's meal is only 5 cents.
family meal, 5 cents. Imagine $100 at the time, how much it was. So the one of the story was that my assistant said, buy the stock instead of selling the stock. So we bought it and we became rich, we became millionaire. And so with that on, basically we were able to, become the richest people in the world. In 1929, owning oil companies, and that's how Rockefeller Center was built, putting a lot of people to work during that time. Yeah. One that works.
So the story, okay, that has
Hold both mics.
the story that has a lot of truth and which many people have been saying was that John D. Rockefeller was walking down the street, happily down the street, and then he was stopped by a shoeshine boy. The shoeshine boy to talk to Rockefeller. Hi sir, please come and get your shoeshine with me. I have a great stock tip for you. So Rockefeller was hurried to try to get his office, but he was intrigued how this little shoeshine boy can give me stock tips, and say, okay, let's do it. So he had his shoeshine, and then he asked the shoeshine boy what kind of stock tip he can give to him. So the shoeshine boy did a good job of shoeshining his shoes, and then told him what stock that's very popular and will sure rise the next day or the next week, definitely. And he has to get all his money in to this stock. Upon hearing that, Rockefeller was kind of excited, and the shoeshine boy said, oh, I'm so right, because he gave me $100, which is like, the family's meal is only 5 cents, and he had $100 for me as a tip. With the news, the stock tip news, Dr. John D. Rockefeller rushed back to his office and tell his assistant, we must do something, we have to start selling.
Gotta buy.
So I heard about the stock tip. Shall we buy?
Oh yeah, of course we gotta buy. Let's buy everything. Let's buy everything.
Sell, but everyone is
I was
buying.
hesitant for a while.
Sell what everyone is buying. The market is booming.
Everybody else was selling. I mean, at the time, basically, I was seeing the market booming, but I was hesitant. But then I have to listen to my colleague over there, my assistant. And then,
So after consulting with his assistants, Rockefeller said, we must sell this stock, we must sell everything. The advice given by the boy was to buy. But the true John D. Rockefeller went back to his office, told his assistants, we must sell this stock right away, clear everything, and sell all other stocks as well. This is in 1929, just 2 weeks before the stock market crashed. So Rockefeller was able to sell all his assets, not losing any money, and he buying back all these junk, garbage stocks after the stock market collapsed. And that's a big portion of the reason how John D. Rockefeller made the fortune from a boy's tip, but the tip is going in the reverse way. Next, we have an equally interesting story, which is the Rothschild story. This is in 1815, when England was at war with France, the biggest war ever. England and France, the strongest country in the world at that time, was doing it to decide who will become the #1 in the world. So the stock market is full of speculations. Rumors are full in the world, but this banker called Rothschild, Nathan Mayer Rothschild, he has many insider tips because he's put his couriers and newspaper reporters on the front line, and he had all these pigeons ready to fly back from the Waterloo every half an hour. So in that way, and he had messengers to tell him everything, hundreds of messengers to tell him every half an hour, running from front line back to his office. So he know what everybody is doing, and he know the real situation happening at the front line in Waterloo.
well, obviously, we're talking about 1815 when Napoleon was defeated, and but then we have a new power. So they defeated Napoleon, and then we have the Austrian-Hungary Empire. After that, Europe was divided into pieces, and Rothschild became very famous and became very rich. the moral of the story is that what's happening today, right? So what's happening today? After we heard that, people selling it. Same thing is happening in Dubai right now. Same thing is happening in the other parts of the world. People are scared, and we were there, and the property was really high up. I'll give you an example. I was about to buy something. They asked me $20 million. I went back a few months later, the property went up $40 million. So it was going up incredibly high, right? Now at the point is now the property is reversing. Why? There is nobody in Dubai. There is nobody in Abu Dhabi. People are flying out. The hotels are empty. Everything is empty. But it's a temporary story. That's where the people, smart people come in. They stop buying and they wait until the market goes up again. So, for the real estate people, my friend Isabella's in the real estate business. A lot of people in the real estate business. Jesse, the real estate business, right, Jesse?
Yes.
So you got to keep your eyes open what's happening in that part of the world. Because the property was going up, people get scared. I give you another similar situation. 9/11 in New York. 9/11, nobody wanted to be in Manhattan. The property, was empty. People were moving out. So you could have bought a lot of good stuff there for nothing. The property now went up, and you cannot go back in the city because it's so high. So keep your eyes open. There's a time people get poor, and there's a time, right, Dr. Guzzi? And she is from Nigeria. Nigeria is very rich in oil. I lived in Nigeria. I went there in the 80s and spent a lot of time there in Nigeria, living in Lagos. I even had a girlfriend there in Nigeria. The Nigerian woman are the most beautiful woman you could find in Africa. So therefore, I almost married one, but I couldn't get married because I was already married. She said, "You'll marry me anyway." I said, "No, I cannot marry you." "So what are you gonna marry me?" She says, "I'm married to a Sicilian girl. The father walks around with a shotgun." I said, "I don't want to die." But anyway, she said you could marry more than one woman over there, and if you live in that part of the world, right? Elvis, come in. We gave our stories. Elvis really impromptu created the stories and to educate us on investment and real estate, what happens in the world. Back to you.
So what happened to the Rothschild story in 1815 England was that Rothschild has many, as I said, has many messengers and pigeons flying back from the front line. So he knows the news that Napoleon is definitely going to be defeated. At that time, nobody in England knows the news. But instead of passing this news to other people, he started selling all his stocks and all his financial possessions, giving people the image, the impression that almost Napoleon has won the war, decisive war. So panic spreads around the market in England. Everybody started to follow Rothschild suit. Everybody started throwing away their assets, selling very cheap, and then the stock market hit the bottom. Where he's equipped with the news, he asked his assistant to secretly buy in everything. So eventually, there's a time gap between the actual victory news of Wellington to pass to England. But during this time gap of a few hours, he has already bought so much of the garbage stocks and garbage properties. He became almost the richest man in the world, Rothschild family. Until today, 1815. That's 1815. Until this day, every conspiracy theory is associated with the Rothschild family. They say they control the world. They are the de facto players. They are the most powerful family of the world. So that's how Rothschild. So the relevance of these two stories is that we are in a similar times with geopolitical risk, political turmoil, and maybe we'll get to World War III. But you have to stay put and be careful and be insightful and do not panic. And that's why we have the World Speakers Series today. We hope to give you some ideas so you can stay clear and do not panic and turn crisis into opportunities. We have a lineup of many speakers, finance, AI, and geopolitics. They will hopefully can give you a clear guideline in the 2 hours we are going to share with you. And you are here because we know you want to have an intellectual dialogue, you want to have the knowledge of what's happening. And that's the cheers. Please give yourself a big round of applause.
Okay, let us introduce our founder of the Boston International Business School, the person who is already getting the program worldwide. In Dubai, in California, she's all over the place. She just came back from Korea, and we are preparing this MBA program throughout the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a nice round of applause for our Professor Gloria Lia.
Let me also introduce Professor Lia Rong a little bit. She always carries an animated smile. Look at what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
Always. So to me, that sounds like a sort of similar to the animated smile of Mona Lisa. But a little bit of difference. She actually has many degrees and diplomas from Beijing University, Tsinghua University, Harvard, MIT. Oh, uncountable diplomas and certificates. More than my Pokemon cards. More than the cards you can play in the poker tournament. Oh my God. So I shouldn't describe her anymore and let her have the stage. Welcome to the stage, founder of Boston International Business School, the fabulous Professor Lia Rong.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say something about, this is the only person, maybe the only person in the world who is smarter than me. When I met her, I said, Professor Lia, I have this degree, this degree, this degree from, she says, I have 4 times more. It's true. She has so many degrees, I lost count. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Gloria Lia, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone, and welcome. And before I can tell the story from Boston, I will first invite the owner and the chairman, George, and he's the president of Century Development Company. Because of his work and his wisdom, his leadership, so we have this beautiful classroom today, and so all of us gather here. And I would like first, like a few months ago, we started the World Speaker Series in Virgin Hotel, where John Lam was the first speaker. He tell a story, how we started the project, and what it takes to build this building. I think that is the real hands-on lessons, how this 4-point hotel get built in this beautiful part of the world. And together with Dr. Lili Xu, I wanted to hear first the case study, how this real estate project development being successful, how it's financed, how it's built, what's the obstacles they overcome. Then follow that, we will tell our story. Boston International Business School, how it started from 2018 to now. And we just come back from the trip from Davos. And we visited Barcelona, we visited Barcelona in Spain, and also Rome, Italy, and Milan, Italy, and then Dubai. Then in Dubai, we worked with the billionaires there, and one of them will give us a talk here. And we set up a Dubai office to promote our projects, including Century Development Company project in Middle East. It's warmly welcome. And also, we developed our teams in Dubai, and follow that, we were in Korea. We work with the business leaders in Korea to set up our Korea operations, and also in Berlin, Germany. So today we also going to hear their comments. So we will bring the the videos from Dubai and also from Germany. And first of all, let's welcome the heroes of this classroom, George and Lili Xu first. Okay, second introduction by Alice.
Okay. I'd like to introduce more to do justice to the owner of this property. When you look at the sky, what do you see? What do you think? When he was a boy of 15, he looked at the sky in China. He says, I'm going to redraw the skyline. I'm going to decorate the skyline with some building structures. I'm going to make that happen. Maybe not in China, but anyway. And he also wanted to do some computing because that was the most favorable job back then. Fast forward many years. He became the company president of this Century Development Group, which has built over 1 million feet of buildings. He has provided buildings that have high ceilings, giving people living dignity and nice, comfortable space. He is none other than George Xu, president of Century Development Group. Let's welcome George to the stage.
Thank you. Welcome to 4 Points. So we finished this project in 2019. Actually, we started a few years before that, and Professor Rong asked me to give a little history. How did I build this project here? So I would like to share that with our friends here. So I see many of the friends sitting over there, and then some new friends. I'm very excited. This project actually was a manufacture zone. You're not supposed to build something like this. So we actually, way early on, we actually went to city planning just to have a rezone. So we have many attorneys here, some of them probably will touch the zoning part of it. So for manufacturer zoning to build any residential, but it's zoned for hotel, but do any residential building condos, you need to go to city planning and go through entire Euro process, and you will need to get the vote from the city council, borough president's office, community board, and then obviously city planning has to give you the blessing first. So we actually went through the entire process, and that took about 2-3 years. So back then, I remember Zhang Liu was councilman. Right now, he's the state senator, Zhang Liu. He's pretty famous local politician, and he was very supportive of this project. So that's why we were able to change the zoning, and by doing so, and eventually we got a rezone. And then once we have a rezone, so we change it from M1-2 to C4, C22, and then residential zoning R6. So we were able to build 100 units of condo, 210 hotel rooms of 4 Points. So this was one of the major hotel projects after Sheraton on 39th Avenue. So Professor Rong wants to know a little history, and then so obstacles, yes. I mean for a mega project like this, and then so we needed $50 million loan. Actually, Bank of China eventually give us the loan. So we were in the market shopping for a construction loan for quite some time, and then we spoke to Cathay Bank and all different banks, and getting the loan actually it's one of the most critical part of any project. So you can have a beautiful design, you can all the architectural interior designs, everything to be nice. If you don't have the money to build it, you still have a project. You're not going to have a project. So we were working very hard on that, and that was the biggest obstacle. And then eventually we were able to get the loan from Bank of China, and we finished it in 2019. And that was for the condo part of it, and the hotel opened in 2021. Actually, on the same year, we also built the Holiday Express in Woodside. So hotel is only part of what we do. We develop rental buildings, condos, and the commercial building like the hotels. Hospitality probably will take only about 40%, 30 to 40% of what we do. So that's a little history of 4 Points. And then afterwards, we have the PowerPoints. I'm just gonna follow that so that I'm not gonna derail too much. So we're gonna cover a little bit going forward, right? So my name is George Su, CEO and founder for Century Development Group. That it works. So I'm glad that the mic is actually, sorry about the mic early on, so the mic is fixed up. I'm not happy. Since 1999, I come here when I was talking to a couple of other friends who are Dr. Shao, right? Dr. Shao said that, he's here for 40 years. I'm here for 40 years. From 1986, 40 years, when I was only 16 years old. And then, so I got here and went to this high school, went to NYU for bachelor's degree, and I went to NYU for master's degree in computer science. And then eventually, and I was working for Computer Associates for 5 years, and I ventured into the real estate and never looked back. So this is what I did, Polytechnic, working the computer. And then actually, I have a picture actually of this building. When we did the groundbreaking, we remember facing the back of the building right next door. And then so it was nothing here, so why real estate? Actually, this PowerPoint, and then my team actually put it together. So one of the main thing for me pick the real estate is, obviously my brother was in the real estate earlier, if anybody knows me a little closer. But real estate, the other things the real estate, we pick real estate is, it's a very rewarding industry. So in a sense, not just financially, right? Financially, yeah, you're gonna make money. I mean, I think a lot of the industry, you're gonna make money. But if you see people actually living inside your building and are feeling happy and then they enjoy, living there, that's very rewarding emotionally, right? And if you can participate of transforming a community, that's very rewarding too, right? So I always, have some communications and chit chats talking to my fellow developers. We want to make sure whatever we put in the community, we want to do better. We always improve our designs, improve the usability, also amenities and things. We want to improve. Over time, we go to Long Island City and build, we go to Woodside and build, we go to Jamaica and build, and then Flushing, obviously, it's our backyard. We started in Flushing, and then so I just feel that when we build, and you want to leave a footprint, right? You want to remember, you want to drive down past my building, and then you feeling proud of what you did, right? So, and the real estate have cycles. Many of us will know, and in 10 to 12 years, you're gonna have a cycle for real estate. And if anybody wondering, where are we in the cycle? So we're probably, if you look at the interest, when the interest goes very high, probably you are towards the bottom of the cycle. When the interest start picking up and then moving around, and then that's where the activity start picking up again. So hopefully, obviously, Elvis is very insightful on the wars and all that kind of things, and then, so that throws another monkey wrench, right, into the cycle business. So and otherwise, potential is always there. Real estate, if you look at anybody who's doing very well, including Donald Trump, and if you hold the real estate over time, it's going to appreciate. So regardless, you're going to do industrial out of it, or you're going to build condo out of it. So over time, if you look at dollar per square feet buildable 10 years ago compared to right now, you see tremendous amount of appreciation. So I remember when I did 2 projects in Jamaica area. It's actually have affordable housing. So I used to pick up the land for probably $80 per square feet buildable. So right now it's $200. We're looking at probably 5-6 years ago. So if you look at any bigger pieces in any neighborhood, and then the land appreciates if you hold it. So that's why the potential is always there. So along the way, it's part of our Century Development's strategy is you buy, you hold, and you build up the inventory, and then you develop along the way, and then you accumulate again, right? So that's our strategy. History, and then I probably talk about a lot already. We used to do, I don't do too much flippings, but once a while I did that, so one of the pieces was a Delta Estate, we went to, that's a company name. We call it right now Flushing Point. If anybody knows Flushing, you guys know Flushing Point, right? So it used to be my property, and then I bought it for $10 million. I flipped it, a year and a half for $26 million. But I only put down $3 million, and I financed the rest of the money. So that was a great return. What we did is we actually took the money, we went to Long Island City when Long Island City was booming, started to booming. We bought 3 pieces, and all that 3 pieces, eventually it's over 100 million right now. So we put in small amount of money, and then eventually all the pieces we bought and I appreciate it a lot. This is an early on project, so that's why it's ever ongoing development, learning, improving, and learning again and develop. So we built Marriott Fairfield Inn. This is a typical condo early on, 2007. And we did some of the brick buildings. And then later on, I'm going to show you how things are transformed and then the type of stuff we do. And this is the first residential project we actually did in Long Island City. So 6 stories because we are limited by the zonings, R6A zonings. And this is the first project actually we involve in having some part of the capital stack with the EB5 money. So why we have an EB5 money? Actually, I was talking to Hannah about that. So as a developer, so you traditional way is you go to the bank and say that, hey, I have 30% money or 35% money, and can you give me the 65% finance on the construction loan? So that's a typical way. We've been doing that all day long, for many, many years. And then once EB5 is getting more popular, so we actually finance about 30% of the 60% from EB5. The rest of it, we get it from the bank. So just do the math, and then actually 30% of a construction cost side, and then you get it from EB5, which you save tremendous amount of interest. And the way we're doing it is not really to make the money on the EB5 money. We really actually just saving interest costs, a part of the development costs. So that's how we do things. That's another project across the park, and then we did a small project in Brooklyn. And so, talk about this. This is the guy that, I actually give you the preview, the story, 4 points, 210 rooms, and if you look at the design, so the exterior is done by Raymond Chang, a well-known architect in Flushing area. But interior, if you look at the interior, we actually work with LeMay interior team. Actually, they are actually based in Montreal. And I told the design team, I said that when you build this 4 points, I don't want to look like a 4 point. I want to look like a Sheraton. So you got Sheraton, you got 4 points. So 4 points actually below Sheraton. I said that you design it like a Sheraton because I cannot get the Sheraton name because there's a name already here, right? So and it came out actually we get a lot of comments. People come here, they say that this is one of the most high-end 4 points in the entire country. So and my team actually did a good job. We were able to execute it, with Bank of China's loan. And we do have part of it as a EB5 money, and then that was a successful raise. And I believe, we raised 66 EB5s, and then we got 100% approval rate. So we did a great job on that. Going forward, and then that was the same year we also did the Holiday Express. In 2019, we opened that, and then that was the Jamaica project we were mentioning, and then that's one of the Jamaica project. I'm going to show you the next slides. We'll give you the next Jamaica project. So I know at that time, a lot of people probably familiar with the affordable housings and stuff, right? So at that time, that it's a voluntary. So meaning you have a residential zoning, you don't have to do affordable housing. So as part of our team's effort to help to create more housings, and we were able to actually, we increased the FAR, more square feet buildable, actually with tapping and then get the bonus and then create the affordable housing. If you talk to most of the real estate developers, they'll tell you if you build affordable housing, you're actually not making money. So the reason we build it because we know New York always need extra housings, and then you don't sell it, you actually just rent it. When you build affordable housing, you just rent it. So we want to be part of the community. We also want to help and contribute to the community as well. So this is the Western Hotel. I don't know for anybody who's in Flushing area, you know on Northern Boulevard and by Linden Place between Levitt Street, and then you have Western, and then we actually opened that property, opened the hotel last year in June, and actually it turned out very, our property is very busy, well received by community, and then we get a lot of good comments. And the Western, just I don't know if you guys know, this is the third Western in entire New York City. So the two other ones are over 20-some years old. So meaning in between, and then no one else either was not able to get the brand to build another Western, or maybe they are very picky. So when I approached them, I told them, and in Flushing area, in 40 years, we only have one Sheraton. I said that over 40-some years, and then you should be able to get another higher brand than Sheraton, and then which we did. And it's very well received in the neighborhood. So next few projects are what we're doing right now. So we have Vesta. It's current project, but this project is already we already got TCO on this. And we sold over 60%. And then you guys can tell, and if you look at the building facade, you'll see that it's glass. And if people don't know, I mean, we have curtain wall system. So curtain wall and brakes, they're totally different. This, we have a triple pane curtain wall system. That triple pane, a lot of people may not know that you have 2 air gaps, 4 layers of glass. You close the window, and then you don't hear anything out there. You barely can, because we are very close to LaGuardia, and then you close the windows, you don't hear anything. So, but this in Long Island City, we're doing the same thing. The Western, we adopted triple pane system. And then if you can look at the design, we're still working with well-known designers, and we create the space, and we create more amenities, and then we're packing, and then we want people to enjoy once they're moving into a building like this, and then they love to live there, they love to, regardless is a work from home or doing whatever, gyms and do exercise, and then they're gonna find it very pleasant to live there. So this is the next door project to it, and then so we have 66 units, and then it's also in Long Island City. This is part of the EB5 race, but I just want to make a point that you can tell that we transforming the designs into a community, and then so we want to do better and better. So all the interiors and the designs, we're actually fine-tuning a lot with the design teams. We want to go back and forth and want to make sure whatever we create has a character, right? So somebody go inside and have a wow factor, and then we're keeping up with the trend of the market, and then so we want to do a good job on that. So actually, I don't know if people coming and then you see across the street there's an active job site with the green fence right across the street from here. So you saw it? Yeah. So this is the project we're gonna do. So right now you see a green fence. Later on, about maybe next year, you're gonna see this building will be done. So we try to limit the time, construction time, so that eventually you'll save money. So once we kick off the job, and then we want to get it done in 18 months. So I push my team, making sure all the timelines, all the schedules are all lined up. So we want to push and then make sure that the execution is great, and also when it's done, looks like what we designed. Okay. future projects, and then actually, this year we bought actually two, and we bought Northern Star right on Northern Boulevard by Parsons, and then we bought 1038 45th Avenue, and we just bought it beginning of this year, two pieces, and with Arden LIC, that's we've been owning it for quite a few years already, and we're moving on, and we're keeping ourselves busy. Same business, new direction. My team did it. So we have, EB5 is, we're not new to the EB5, so EB5 is still going to be the same type of capital stack strategy. But we want to diversify. Going across, we want to be targeting different neighborhoods. Right now, not just in Flushing, Jamaica, Woodside, and Long Island City. Long Island City and Flushing, we're heavy, but we're looking into the city, some spots in the city. So I think right now, you can actually $5 per square feet, buildable, comparable to Long Island City's price to Manhattan's price. So that raised my eyebrows, so obviously I'm very keen to price points. So if I can pick up some pieces in Manhattan, still the price is reasonable, and I can do a nice project over there as well. So looking ahead, and the Flushing, Long Island City, Woodside, we have a new mayor. I just want to touch, I don't want to touch too much politics and stuff, but there are ways that I don't disagree. I disagree with his strategies of freezing the rent and not, freezing the rest of the expenses. So that doesn't, sit well with a lot of, property owners or developers. But for us, it doesn't change our strategy. Diversification will happen, and we're still going to target the areas that it's doing well, and we still will be pumping a lot more units into the market. Like across the street, I show you with the glass building, and we have 115 units, and we do 30% affordable. So when we have our chance, we'll do our affordable units. So, and even though we're not making money, we know we're gonna max out, and over time, you actually, through rental, you actually will preserve the value of the units. We also have a big size in Long Island City, which, so we bought it way early on. So actually, one time Amazon was my tenant, so for a few years, and then Amazon was consolidating in Long Island City area, so they actually moved out. So Rivian, the electric car company, Rivian is my tenant right now. So we actually reaching out to city planning. We want to change from the end zonings to residential zonings. By doing so, I actually can pump in more affordable units. I told the city council, Julie Wang over there, I said that if you want to work with me, because one LIC, the zoning just finished. One LIC actually, they rezoned a lot of areas within Long Island City. A lot of the developers actually have a big jump of the FAR they have. So, but I'm gonna reaching out. So my lot was not part of it. So I'll tell city council, and I said that if you rezone my lot to R10, I'm gonna give you 30%. That we're talking about a few hundred units of affordable housing over there. So which it's gonna be a big deal. So for a lot size we have. The reason I'm skipping EB5 because Lily from my team is going to talk about it. So next, please. Well, I talked about it already. Next. Whoa, thank you. And I don't know if you guys have any questions for me though, but so if anybody have a question, I can address that before I wrap up this one. Okay, Professor Rong.
What's the most difficult time for all these years when you develop,
During COVID. COVID actually put a lot of dent on my projects. Part of the reason is you can't get anybody out there to the job site. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to work. And the loans, is due and then your project is not moving, right? So actually I build my credit during that time, meaning a lot of people like go to the bank saying that, hey, can you not charge me for a couple of months of interest and stuff. So we never did that. Not a single lender we asked for any forgiveness or anything like that, right? Forbearance and stuff. We did not do that. So actually all the lenders work with us and then they love to work with us again. So we go through tough times and the good times and then we never pay any mortgage late. So we always return the loan on time and we do the next project. So I think that's a good question. I mean, we go through COVID is a challenging time.
So you put a lot of reserve to cope with the difficult times? What's the reserve percentage?
So usually you're gonna build the capital stack. So
Yeah.
whatever we have to provide, let's say a loan costs a 60%, from EB5 plus senior loan, and I have 40% invested into the project. So we actually have to build the equity first before we start the project. So we don't want to go halfway, all of a sudden you feel like you're running short and then you cannot finish the project, right? So I think like any other thing, if you will, have enough money for the project and then you're not going to slow down the project. The only thing is to get the project done faster is to pay the guys. If you don't pay them, they slow down.
Okay. So before the project starts, you already have enough equity.
We have enough equity
Equity
to
plus
execute the
the-
project, yes. Anybody else? Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you, President George Xi. I also built many houses and buildings and hotels, but I use Lego chips, different from President George Xi. I also like to assemble IKEA furniture, but he assembles fixtures, hotel pillars, columns, and build the high ceilings. So that's a remarkable achievement, like maybe 100 times, 1,000 times what I did. In order to honor President George Xi, we would like to give him some awards. And we'll have our awards committee, Dr. Ugoji and Dr. Joseph Siniguero, to present the awards to President George Xi.
Here we are. We have something for our speaker. Here we go. Give you the golden microphone to our speaker, George Yu. And we have a certificate of honor. The World Speaker Series gives you a Distinguished Leadership in Real Estate Development and Innovation Award, presented to Mr. George Xu from the BIBS. Thank you very much. And the next one will be by Dr. Should we read it?
We have a certificate letter of invitation from George Xu from the Boston International.
Thank you. You got a two. I think you got another one. And then you hold on a second. That's it. That's it, right? We
And
have two.
also, we want to present you a hat.
Exactly.
Boston International Business School.
We have a hat from the Boston International Business School for Mr. Chu. And like this, you'll be one of our students or professor.
Professor.
Yeah.
Can you wear it?
Should they, here we go. Hold on. I open up for you, George. There we go. There we all wear it.
Come on.
There we go, looking like. There we go. Come here, Elvis. Come here. You're the host. Come here. We have to give you one by right. There we go. Everybody wearing a hat. All right, just Joe, hold over it. Yeah. Hi. A little bit, push a little bit down. We don't want Elvis. Here we go. My God. Alan, a little bit down. Give us some space.
Okay.
Go down. Back. Okay, like this, we get Elvis inside. You have the awards. There we go, guys. We are students. We are students and professors here. We were students before we became professors. It took a lot. Dr. Yi is my professor. There we go. And Dr. Gloria, of course, so she's teaching me Alan, and Jeremy. Thank you. We had a very, very interesting presentation in real estate and how to make money in real estate. We have to follow Mr. George Chu example. From nothing, from an immigrant to a really well-off man. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate it. Elvis, next.
Next up, I want to introduce someone sort of like Wonder Woman. She can help babies, she can help investors, and she can build skyscrapers. Wow, I can't even wash my dishes that well. And she remembers her kids' birthdays, attend parties, organize parties for kids. She's a good mother and a Wonder Woman in Korea. Let's welcome to the stage COO of Century Development Group. Her speech topic is the future of EB5. Because you want to diversify, you want to see your assets everywhere in every continent. You want to have your capital flowing to the United States and join the EB5 program. Let's welcome to the stage COO of Century Development Group, Lily Shi.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to suburban Queens. Right? I know that. George and I trekked into the city last month for your wonderful event at the Trump Tower, and I'm very pleased that you guys were able to trek back into Queens. Again, welcome to the Four Points by Sheraton. This is one of in our portfolio, one of the 3 hotels owned by us. And George had mentioned and gave the history of this building, and I'm only piggybacking on his presentation by focusing a little bit on the fundraising part of our project. For earlier part of my career, I ran my office, and I was really busy. So now I have transitioned back to the family business, and even when I was working 2-3 jobs, since in about 2012, we touch upon the EB5 business, the Green Carpet Investment business, and now we're in 2026. So I'm really in charge of the Century Regional Center. It used to be Century New York City Regional Center in 2012, and that was approved by the USCIS in 2015. Our first project was done in collaboration with another regional center. As a developer, obviously, we needed to have our own regional center, so we had put an application in the meantime. And then fast forward in 2024, we expanded our regional center to include all 9 states, starting from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Rhode Island, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont. I don't know if I counted all 9, but they're all 9 entire states that we cover. Right now, obviously the world is in a lot of influx, and EB5 actually is venturing into another era of change. And then I'll go, anybody who actually knows the EB5 business, I only have 8 slides that I prepared, but I could talk about this all day long because I breathe on this. Since the inception of EB5 in 1990 by direct investment, and then 1992 with the Regional Center program, and then back then, in like anything in life, supply and demand, no one really knew about it. We didn't even know about it. Obviously, in 1992, we were already living in New York, right? Like George, I also immigrated as a teenager to New York in 1986. So this is also our 40th anniversary. And anyway, back to EB5, and then we entered the EB5 business in 2015 or so, 2012, where we were guided by other people, and then in full swing by ourselves in 2015. The height of EB5 business was in 2015, 16, 17, and then with the visa backlog, the heat sort of calmed down a little bit, and then 2019 was a big change. And then the regional center program actually was lapsed for a year between 2021 to 2022. This may happen again next year, and I'll go into that a little bit with the current legislature. If somebody could just start my slides. Oh, how do I do this? Just,
We have your video.
no. You didn't, I sent the PowerPoint and the PPT.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll continue talking then. Elvis, you also have it. So the way we do EB5 is a little different than most people, especially now in a very, it's a highly competitive. EB5 had a bad rep for a number of reasons, because lack of supervision, lack of surveillance, lack of oversight, and that's why all the bad reps. And I always tell my investors, say that there are still good people that actually would do an honest day of work. Because if you really follow the rules, it's actually not that easy. It's not that just easy money. The way we approach it, and I'll go a little bit more in depth, is that we, like George said, we make sure that we could finish a project without even 1 penny of EB5 money. Therefore, I don't have the pressure. It's not a hot sale, and I think we tend to be super conservative. It actually works in our favor in the EB5 world. And actually, we were supposed to have another speaker, Lawrence, who is also an expert in the business, but somehow I think he had an emergency that he can't come. So I'm glad that I'm overlapping his area of discussion a little bit. Yeah, I touched upon this already earlier, that it is changing. The biggest change that occur is in 2022. I remember George and I would actually go to a lot of events. We talked to John Liu, we talked to Grace Meng, we talked to Chuck Schumer, at least 3 times directly. And in 2020 or 21, obviously EB5 had bought over $10 billion over the last decade to infuse into the economy of this country. And because of Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, because he voted no, and therefore in 2021 that was a lapse. Because in 2015 there was all this sort of quiet wolf, because the rules did not change since 1990. Since 1990, it was $500,000, and every 6 months or so, it will be, it's gonna change. So they keep getting on the omnibus, and then at one time they did not make it to the omnibus, and then therefore there was a lapse. And then all of a sudden, this is called the RIA, which is the 2022. RIA stands for EB5 Reform and Integrity Act, where they force into more supervision, with the fund administrator being a must. And when this all came out, and some of my attorney friends would say, wow, how do you have oversight? Because the way we did it in 2015 is that I already had a extra layer of oversight, even back into 2015. So I'm going off the slides a little bit, but this is just the background of information. So right now, so all of a sudden, when there was all lapse, where EB5 sort of was dead, especially for the Chinese, for the Vietnamese, for the Indian. And by the way, for those in the field, immigration, U.S. immigration is not based on citizenship or passport. It's based on birthplace. I could be, I'm Chinese. If I was born in South Africa, then when it comes to immigration, it's an advantage. So in 2020, because of the visa backlog, the biggest two schools of thoughts in EB5 is not south or not south or north or east or west coast. It's actually rural versus city. So we are in New York in the height of EB5, 2015, 16, 17. 50% of the whole, more than 50% of the whole EB5 market is actually in New York City. All the real estate projects in New York City. And because of the visa backlog for especially China-born, it's up to actually almost 8, 9, 10 years. And the heat sort of came down a little bit and then with the lapse. So when we were building the Westin Hotel, we launched that project right before COVID. And then during COVID, and then there was lapse, we didn't expect the program to come back and actually sort of change our way of doing business with what we had referred to before. I personally was not very optimistic when it came back. All of a sudden, on March 15, 2022, Congress passed the law. So right now it's codified. It's the law for 5 years. So that's why I'm going to go into why we're in the influx right now, because next year is the 5th year anniversary, and therefore, if they don't reauthorize it, we could be facing the same problem again. And because of that experience, when we, when we were building in the Westin 2 blocks away from here, we weren't counting on EB5, that played an advantage. I wasn't very hopeful, but actually we did a lot better than we expected. So right now I'm going to discuss a little bit about the current state. Right now we're in the post-RIA. The old cases called legacy cases, and now this is the post-RIA cases where in the reserve quarters it's $800,000 versus if it's in the height in Boston, where Professor Rom had given me some address. When I look it up, then it's not qualified for the reserve quarters. You can still do EB5. It's considered a traditional EB5, where the investment is a little bit over $1 million. Okay. Next slide. This is what we were talking about, the reserve quarters. The Congress gave 10,000 visas per year. Okay, with the reserve quota is 3,200 is reserved. So the biggest advantage of that is also when international student, when they graduate, if they don't have to go through the H-1B, there's something called concurrent filing. Okay, concurrent filing means when you apply for EB5, the day that if you're here, you could do concurrent filing. In order to do concurrent filing, you have to be on U.S. soil. When you apply that day, your status changed from whether you're F1 visa or B1, B2 or H1B and you have to enter the country legally. Then that day, your status changed from those status to something called green card pending status. And then along that's called to file the I-485 form. And then the green card is the I-526E. And then another 2 forms is the I-131 and I-765. So 131 is where you get the re-entry permit. And then for 765 is the Social Security card where you could work legally, so you don't have to go to the lottery system anymore. Therefore, this benefit was not available for the old times. For the old times, you have to be able to get the visa and then come in. Right now, as long as you file that day, you're able to live here legally. And when you get the combo card, you could work legally and you could enter and leave the country legally. So in a way, your rights as a couple card, a EAD card holder, is just similar to what, as a citizen or green card holder, except for two caveats, right? That person cannot work for the federal government, nor they could have any rights of voting or voting rights. Next. Yes. So I'm going to summarize obviously I ramble on a lot and give you a lot of information already. Again, I do this every day, so sort of everything is in the back of my mind. The three important deadlines this year is the September 30th, 2026. That's called the guarantee deadline, where if a case is filed before that, no matter what happens to Congress, no matter what happens to the EP5 program, that case is guaranteed that USCIS will look at it, will be adjudicating that. Because when the last time happened, everything stopped. They were not even adjudicating cases. Okay, so that's the September 30th, 2026 deadline. And then the next date of importance is January 1st, 2027, where when the law passed in 2022, it did factor in that if it's renewal, it would be actually cost of living added on it. So they just notified last week that in January 1st, 2027, the investment for the TA or for the reserve quota is actually going up to close to $1 million. It's about $975,000. So that's another milestone. The next one is the most important deadline, which is September 30th, 2027, which marks the 5-year anniversary. And if Congress does not reauthorize it, then the program may lapse. Next. And I think I already said this. And the next. This I'm going to leave on for a little bit, and this is a touch upon our current raise. George had mentioned that this is the Vesta. This is a project that has two components per se. The Vesta, which by location, by sales, and by quality, we're very proud that we stay #1 in the area for. In terms of condo sales, we are actually approaching $1,900 per square foot, and we're still selling very well. Actually, too well, because we're paying a lot of taxes. So, in that sense, this is a very mature project. The first component of the project is 95% done. 95% done. And the phase 2, which is Loft 21 in the bottom, we are going to expect it to be completed by later part of this year, and we expect the TCO in Q4, or maybe if I'm optimistic, Q3 of 2026, and we're closing up the sales would be to start immediatly after that. Another milestone that we hit is George said that 60%. He's actually not. He's behind his numbers a little bit. We're approaching actually 70% in sales of Vesta, and to the point that actually the senior loan of Vesta has been paid off in January. So that was a big milestone. We got the TCO of November of last year. Making again, in EP5, number one rule is that you can't guarantee. But this will increase your fund security, right? What are the two goals of EP5, right? The whole point is you want to get your green card, right? Your green card is the most important. And then obviously, fund security, your fund security is very important, tied together as well. In the new rules, the EP5 the fund of return is no longer completely tied to the green card. In the old rules, you have to be able to get your green card. If you get the money earlier, your card would be null and void. But now the new rule is a little different. So I'm leaving this here for a few minutes, and my next slide is just any Q&A. I'm here to answer any of your questions. Yes, Professor Gloria.
how many EB5 investors so far you have been working with? What's the total dollars amount raised from EB5 program for development?
Okay, I've personally helped work with about 170 families, and before 2022, it was $500,000 per family per application. So I guess 100-something million and then for the Westin Hotel alone, we built actually I could probably 150 mil. This project for going back to just leave it in the last slide. For this project, the raise is about 60 raise, so it's $48 million. And right now we are halfway through, which is really our target because the project is also almost done.
For EB5, what's the minimum amount of employees for a project? Minimum.
In order to issue one green card per family per quarter is 10 jobs, right? So obviously, there are projects who cannot. There are some rural projects per se that it looks very promising, but they couldn't finish the project. Therefore, the job creation. So it's very important to get the job creation because you can get your temporary green card. 2 years later, when the project is not able to deliver, then you actually you don't get the home run, right? And then you have to start all over again.
Does it have to be existing? Sorry, does it have to be new development, or can it be an existing building that you bought as a 10 employees for that size?
That's fine. The job creation by the project. If you're renovating, you're building, you're still hiring. Again, I'll go a little bit more detail. When it comes to job creation, there are two types of job creation. There's something called direct job creation. If in this hotel, you come in, the people in the front desk, those are direct, because we pay them W-2, right? It's directly hired. When it comes to construction, the advantage of any EB5 project in real estate per se, it's easier to prove the jobs. Because construction, although I don't pay I pay, the superstructure for this, so we pay $18 million. I pay the boss $18 million, but the workers' jobs it's also counted. That those are called indirect jobs. And I'm not an attorney and I'm not an economist either. So in order to do an offering, right, because EB5 it was ruled to be as a security by the Supreme Court in 2015 because there are some attorneys who were selling EB5 and and there were a lot of lawsuits, so they went to Supreme Court. So EB5 is considered security, so therefore it's an offering. We do have to follow the rules not only by the USCIS, also by the SEC. So we have to do Reg D, Reg Act, and what else? Those are the people who are doing it right. There are a lot of projects out there, they don't do that. But those are what you're supposed to do. So another caveat is that the indirect jobs would only be able to be counted for a regional center project. By the way, EB5, you don't need to do it. You could open a restaurant, you could open a pizzeria, you could do an EB5. But those projects would only be counting for direct jobs. You literally have to hire 10 people. So in the old days, where especially if you're born in China or Vietnam or India, sometimes up to 8 years. And you're running a restaurant and you're like 3 years, 4 years in, right? And you may or may not make the money, but yet your green card is tied to it. So what are you gonna do? If you stop it, your green card is gonna be nullified. So you don't want to do that. So those are also the dilemma. So when it comes to the regional center, the burden of proof of jobs creation is on the project. When you're direct, it's on you, it's on yourself. So that's the biggest difference as well. Any other questions?
They raised it from before was 500,000. How much they have the investors to put it now? 800 or more?
Minimum 800.
800.
There are two tiers. Okay, the 32%. The 32%, that's the lower tier. That if your project fits into either a row or something called TEA, which is TEA stands for Target Employment Area. That means that area has to have an unemployment rate 1.5 times the national rate. You might wonder, why is Manhattan Project? Right? Manhattan is not particularly poor, especially if you're in Times Square. Manhattan Project is actually TA, because there's something called, we have to hire an economist, right? The economists, they're PhDs. All they do is they calculate jobs and they have their own formula. I could go on, there's something called RIM 2 and then RIM 1, blah, 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 blah. If you have a neighboring census tract that has a low, that's high employment rate, you can count that as your credit. So as long, Manhattan obviously is not, it's very affluent, but Manhattan goes, next census tract, I think it tracks up to the Bronx, or to even upstate. So therefore, Manhattan projects are, they're not quasi, they're really TA, that's just by the rule, they are TA projects.
So you can do the same thing with Queens, then, like, for example,
Yes.
Queens, you do the same thing, like track up to the Bronx, and track to some.
Yes. So this project, in Queens right now, the Weston, this is the Farrington project, the 4 Points, it's a TA project, by that token. But at one point, I launched the London City project about 2 years ago. When I checked again, the TA, it's called something called TA map. It didn't qualify. That's the reason why I decided to go to London City. To me, I'm always very busy, so I help George with a lot of the business, mainly the fundraising part of it. And my arm's not that long to extend into the job, to the construction site. I'm also learning as well. And I'm also overseeing the sales and other parts of the design, et cetera. So right now, I checked recently, and it is TA again. So therefore, across the street from us, it's going to be the next AB5 project. Professor Rong had expressed interest in her Boston properties, and when I checked that, they actually do not qualify. Again, that does not mean you do not do AB5. You just don't qualify to get the benefit of the lower tier. Right. And now it's 800,000, and next year it might go up again. I'm sorry, one more question.
I'm just curious, you say in this project, you have a senior loan you pay off. Do you have mezzanine loan on this project?
Yes, we do. I think George actually, we learned this. When I was looking, I'm very, very involved with the offering. This offering, I was, the PPM changed 6 times because I'm always on the phone with the securities attorney, right? This is a security. So you do need a securities attorney. There's some people who don't use it, but I've always, this is not a typical sale that you always have an appointment. I want this, I want to add that. Once your offering is already accepted, especially for our project, it's already been approved by the USCIS, you really can't change it. If you change it, you have to do all over again. That's called material change, right? So that's called the I-956F. Right. So with this, when it comes to senior loan, and this, I'll spend another minute on it. Some investors would come and say, okay, the first thing they ask is say, well, what position am I in, right? So naturally, you say somebody owes you money, you want to be first position, right? In any project that has a senior loan, there's no way in the world that a senior loan would take a second position to the EB5. And by the same token, as much due diligence as a savvy investor might do, which now they're getting more and more savvier, right? They can ask for the PPM first. When you as one family looking at all my documents, which I'm more than happy to give out with an NDA sign, Bank of China used a whole team to do due diligence on our whole company for months before they closed the construction loan. So, I always look at it. If a huge bank is able to lend money to a project, that actually says something about the project. It's actually credible. And also, again, if somebody says, oh, so-and-so has the first position, unless that's the only senior loan, being the EB5 loan, I don't see how that is possible, right? That's just realistic. And then, but it's a double-edged sword. If you have a project that is only EB5 as your senior lender, you have to also think, okay, what if the race is not successful? What's the risk of that project, right? Now go back to your mezz loan. We actually have one senior lender, but then when they close, they want to structure in a way that, mezz loan has a higher interest rate, of course. So the mezz loan always comes in first, leaves out last, right? Why? It has the highest interest rate. So to be honest with you, we are not going to, right now we're in a position to actually choose lenders, right? Which is, very different 10 years ago. When we finished the Weston project, we refined luckily we sold out all the condo units, right? And then we refined the hotel portion. Before we chased after a bank to give us a loan, right? In this project, like George said, the biggest challenge is the securing financing. And thanks to EB5, we're very grateful to the EB5 investors to help the project to propel forward. Now the table turned. In the Western project, we actually choked. There are 4 lenders fighting. The interest rate started at 8 something. We got it below 7. So it's good to be in a position of to choose. So and by the way, that's also somebody who asked that question. That means I know you know your stuff, because in my offering, I made sure my securities attorney says that the EB5 loan. It's a loan. We use a loan model, and again, there will be equity model versus loan model. I could reserve that for the next talk. That you can use EB5 funds to pay your senior loan and still count that as your job for a job, because at the initial part of the temporary green card, the responsibility is shared between the project and the source of fund of the client. That's half. But at the fund of the last of the permanent green card, 100% of the responsibility lies in the regional center or the project alone. So if that person is not responsible or doesn't know what they're doing, then you're going to have a problem. Anyway, I know I'm going to stop. Next speaker.
Quick, can you give an example? For example, you need $100 million to build a project. How much you need to raise for EB5? How much you need to use the bank loan in terms of ratio? The EB5 money you use is as a loan or as equity?
We use it as a loan.
As a loan.
Yes.
So you can have 2 loans, bank loan and EB5 loan.
Yes. The EB5 loan is the second position.
Second position.
Yes. The owner with the last position.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Another 2 hours.
Thank you, CEO Lily. Do you ever wonder how the Wonder Woman in movies compared to this Wonder Woman? Who can tell me the difference? The difference is in selling abilities. Lily Shi can sell ice to Eskimo or sand to Sahara people. She's a super sales for EB5. She can convince an investor even before the first brick is built. And in the end, the investors will be happy because she delivers. In order to commemorate that achievement, we will have her some awards and certificates. Please, music.
First of all, we have a nice big hat from Boston International. It matches your dress. And then, of course, we will have some certificate for you as an appreciation. We present to you a certificate of honor from the World Speaker Series Distinguished Leadership in Real Estate Operation and Development Award. This award is proudly presented to Ms. Lily Xu from the Boston International Business School. Thank you very much. Here you are. And Dr. Gorgi will present the next award.
Present you with certificate of honor. This appreciation to the Boston International Business. Thank you.
You hold the mic up high.
Let's let the Chairman George.
Dr. E over here.
I want to be able to make a good
Yes, next to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have another one for you, which is a letter of appointment. After all that teaching and all that information you gave us, we will appoint you as a professor. Letter of appointment, Boston International Business School. We are pleased to appoint Lily Yu as a professor of the Boston International Business School. All right, she deserves it. Now you can come and teach in our university. We hold this for you. Don't worry about it. You got the mic. Hold the golden mic. It's and I hold this. Actually, Dr. E will hold this. She deserves it. Okay, take our pictures. We smile. And we will have other speakers, very interesting evening, and we're trying to, we have somebody from Canada just came to us, talking about finance between China, Toronto, Canada, and the United States. Thank you very much, thank you, and let's recognize eStar TV for taking every second of the forum, of the speaker forum. Thank you, and now back to our host, Elvis Newman, who's going to introduce the next person.
Now I realize what's happened in the beginning of the glitch. Because the computers are protesting, the programmings are protesting, the robots are complaining, the ChatGPTs are complaining, because we don't give them enough credit to let them speak first. But now, we finally have a speaker for AI that can that can benefit you in the knowledge of the AI. Let's welcome to the stage Pratham. He's the chief engineer of AI from Locomax, and he will give us some insightful news about AI.
Hello everyone, my name is Pratham. So you guys might know over the last 2 years, after of ChatGPT coming, everyone is using AI in their businesses. So we have seen that how enterprise leaders are using it as a chatbot. But have you even thought about thinking about how the AI can be used as an action, wherein the AI can control your business, that AI can increase your productivity?
Hello, how are you doing?
Okay, so moving over to the next slide. So I forgot to introduce myself. So my name is Pratham, and I hold a master's in computer science from New York University, and I'm currently serving as a chief AI and cloud engineer at Locomax, right here in New York. And my day-to-day work involves building architecture diagrams, building agentic AI systems. One of our clients is Philadelphia Housing Authority, and currently I'm working with New York City Housing Authority as well, with building inspections, elevator inspections. And I've been in multiple hackathons. Recently, I won the first place at Levin Labs AI Hackathon, and second place at Columbia Business AI Hackathon as well. So moving over to the next slide. So if you go, like as I said, then generative AI looks like magic. It can write down the code for you, it can draft an email for you, it can generate images. But what about the massive comparison that we do when we businesses cannot deploy them into production or cannot serve it to the customers? So currently, if you see, nearly 80% of the businesses are facing this kind of difficulties, data issues and everything. Out of the box, this AI models have to be good enough and should be good and reducing the latency, should not hallucinate, should give you accurate answers and everything. So in this, I'm going to talk about how you can efficiently use applied AI by using rigorous principles, cloud architecture, and how it can seamlessly work with your businesses. So the three pillars of applied AI is like, first is the context. The context is like specifically the data that your businesses is using. Like We achieve this through RAG pipelines, that is known as retrieval augmented generation. This is how we ground in AI and reality. Instead of using, the AI guessing down the work or giving out the answers, hallucinated answers, we provide the context so that can help in the real time. And second is the actions, which is like rather than doing the chatting, nowadays it's more like doing. If you might have heard about the agent force from Salesforce, or might have heard about something with Comet browser or through Gemini or something, wherein the automations are taking place. It's more like not towards chatting, moreover towards the AI performing the actions for you. Third is the infrastructure, as I said, which is very much important where the business is paid. So like, if let's say if you have more than 10,000 users who are trying to use your platform, and you do not, they are not able to get communicate through AI, or maybe due to some latency or security issues. So you need to have a very robust infrastructure to handle that kind of a traffic. So those are the three pillars. One is the most important thing, that is about the agentic shift in 2026, wherein all of the AI companies are moreover diving towards that. So it's more like if you see the conversational platforms are like stateless. To make it very much stateful, we are making use of sequential reasoning. Like if you might have heard about LangGraph, Crew AI, wherein we define the action groups, what exactly the AI has to perform. So these are the frameworks through which we define the task. They create a plan. So if you might have written down something, a big prompt like send it to your chat bot or something. What it does is, behind the scenes, they will create the task one by one, and they will perform the action based on it. So that is what this frameworks will do. A very good example is like you do not need a data analyst to be hired. Like you could have an AI data analyst wherein it can, with a one go, it can read your messy financial data, it can give the portfolio, everything. So that is how the agent is evolving. And even the researchers, like when I was at Columbia University discussing with all the researchers, they are like eliminating the work very quickly, the tiresome work, wherein 5 years of research can be done within 3 to 4 months. So that is what agent can be very much useful. Moving over to the next slide. So I would like to discuss about the one that I have been working with, Philadelphia Housing Authority, wherein I have worked on agentic AI auditor. So in US specifically, all housing authorities are following UPCS inspections for whether it is this building or anything, and they tend to make many mistakes wherein when the inspector is recording something and they are like they cannot follow some compliance or something, they need to they make mistakes. There is an auditor who goes behind the scene. There is a human who needs to work around. Now this system wherein the agent which is there, they can whenever the inspector is entering the details, the agent can automatically correct your faults, can issue a ticket to Agile CRM. So keeping it short, we have iPadOS application, then it communicates to the backend and the Java Spring Boot, and then there is an auditor orchestrator, wherein it uses LangGraph to create all the actions that the AI has to do. And we are using Amazon Bedrock through OpenSearch, wherein all the vector embeddings from our contexts has been collected based on the data that has been inputted, and then the ticket has been issued through an Agile CRM, and the email has been sent to the inspector. Okay, so there is this issue in the housing. You need to correct the faults which has to be done. By doing this thing, within a month, we were like having only 200 inspections, it has been boosted to 900 plus month, and our profits are rising at a high scale with no errors. So that is what it means when you're having an agentic AI. You do not have to do the work. Everything is done by the agent, and that is how the AI is, removing the manual review cycles and everything. So, yeah. Again, I said we are having zero loss, so $0.0 about an hallucination, and very minimal inference latency wherein it can happen. It's like 200 milliseconds to our project. And this is the future that I want to talk about. Rather than the AI, you have to type it down or something. The next phase that is going to come is like voice first system, wherein you don't have to write it down, you can communicate through voice. And second is that behind the scenes, wherein you might have heard that OpenAI is developing some kind of a hardware device through camera, through which you don't have to do anything. The AI can control your journey, destinies, and everything. These two things are going to come, and it's going to be automated in your life. And yeah, this is the research that I had conducted, that an enterprise AI, like you have to do traditionally processing of the data and everything that is 85% manual. By using applied AI, it can help you to boost the productivity by 15%. So less labor, less time wasted. So that's the thing. Also, one more thing, if you are using applied AI at the enterprises, three things are very much important. Data governance. So you need to ensure that the data that you are you're not using some tenant info. So the place where I was working at, the AI was giving the answers to the customers about the personal information of the tenant, personal information about like phone numbers and everything. You need to make sure there's data governance. The AI should not give the personal information. So when you are developing, data governance is very much important. Second is deterministic fallbacks. For example, whatever I'm asking, it shouldn't be something out of the box, doing web crawling through a Google search or something. It should stick to the business scenario which is there. And third is like, the AI should be able to be scalable, should be available to all the businesses. So you need to take care about reduced latencies, cost savings, and everything, because deploying AI models could be very much expensive. You can have around $10,000 to $15,000 within a month or something. So you need to make sure that your infrastructure can handle that. Okay, thank you everyone. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Pratham, Chief AI Engineer from LocalMax. I once asked AI, how do I make maximum amount of money from minimum amount of investment? And what do you think? The AI comes back with error 101. Don't give me foolish input. And the other time, I asked AI, why can't you be more humorous so humans can understand you better? If only AI can be more humorous. And the AI comes back, error 404. Humans are not humorous. We coding, we have humors in our coding. It's only you who don't understand humor with AI. We are more humorous than you. Humans? Okay. That's a very good speech by Pratham, and then we will give him awards and recognitions. Joseph and Dr. Ugochi, please come to the stage, and we will give Chief Engineer Pratham some recognitions and awards.
Where's that?
Presentation time. We got the hat. We thank you very much for your presentation of AI. And now we have a little
Join us.
certificate for you. And Dr. Easy, gonna read it? Go ahead. Give him that.
Certificate of Honor, Distinguished Leadership in Artificial Intelligence and Technology Award, Mr. Freetown from the Boston International Business School.
Nice one. And we have another one. Go ahead.
Letter of appointment,
Here's the second one.
letter of appreciation for Pratham Lecter for the Boston International Business School.
Thank you.
And then we got the third one. Since you did such a great job of presenting, by the way, we have something in common. We're both from Columbia University. I'm a graduate of Columbia University. So we make you a professor, a letter of appointment, the Boston International Business School. We are pleased to appoint Pratham Mehta as a professor of the university. Thank you very much. I think you deserve it. And come to teach at Boston. We'll take a nice picture for the audience and for the media. eStar TV.
All right, look here.
And one day we'll do this presentation with another MC. She's a great MC, Isabel. We've done shows together. Thank you, Elizabeth, for coming by. I think, Elvis, we got the new speaker, another speaker, right? Interesting conversation for the next one.
Next up, we have someone who is very important. If you believe Flushing is the largest capital of overseas Chinese in the world, other than Beijing, Shanghai, Taipei, Hong Kong, then you want to get to know this person because she single-handedly invested almost $500,000 to raising the cultural consciousness of the Flushing population, as well as making stars. When she was young, she's a celebrity. Now she's retired and dedicating herself to raising a lot more celebrities to make stars that can shine the Flushing community in the areas of culture, film, drama, and other events, bridging the gap and the bridge between China and USA. She is the president of World Film Institute, having a doctoral degree in English literature. Let's welcome to the stage the fabulous Ginny Yi.
Thank you. Thank you, Elvis. I'm so happy to stand over here. And first, thank you, Professor John. Thank you, and thank you for the audience over here. And thanks for Flushing community. And before I do anything, I just want to show one video clipping I invested. We save our nature, yes. We have to save our ocean as well. Ocean is taking 70% of our Earth's planet. So every single breath we breathe in, 2/3 are from the ocean. To save the ocean is our primary job as well. We talk about building the community, building the next generation smart city. But if our ocean is ruined, what do we have? 97% of the water comes from the ocean. I invested in this. And the narrator is Prince Albert. And he's very, very well known in this world for his job. And thank you, let's watch this so you know the responsibility of a movie maker, awareness of the danger we are facing. Thank you. Could you play it?
Makes life on Earth possible. But this all-important resource is under extreme threat.
I looked around me and I just saw more plastic bags in the fish.
Just 5 minutes.
Balance is tipping towards destruction.
If we lost our quality, that would us.
And somehow, because our very existence depends on it, we must save the ocean.
We have one ocean. We can all be part of this solution.
ask you, what does it bring respect to the ocean today? Plastic pollution, temperature increase, overfishing? Yes, these are issues are extremely serious, but the greatest problem of all is the lack of awareness of the vital importance of the ocean for our very existence. There's so many examples, and here's just one. Taking a deep breath, now breathe out. Do this twice. One of those breaths you took came from the ocean. Many organisms produce over half of the oxygen that man, most including people, need to breathe. And as I said, this is just one example of so many things that the ocean provides us with, something we can't live without. The ocean is a stunningly beautiful world we are still exploring and learning about. We do know that it covers about 71% of the Earth's surface, and it contains an estimated 97% of the planet's water. We also know that the ocean is in deep trouble, and in fact, presents an existential threat to us all. These profiles will film small amounts of fluorescent microplastics. The results are striking. Soon, the plastic is seen within the body of the animals, and it floats up the food chain into all fish and other marine animals that feed on it. And from the ocean creatures, the plastic is transferred to the land animals that eat them, including us. Researchers found that most shellfish have plastic in them.
There are all sorts of different colors. They're very small. All sorts of different shapes and sizes, microplastics.
So when you eat oysters and clams,
You're eating plastic as well.
and because it's present throughout the food web, you're ingesting plastic every time you eat any seafood, from shrimp to swordfish.
Let's talk about your toothbrush. You can find a lot of these in the ocean. So why not use a bamboo toothbrush? Bamboo is biodegradable and highly sustainable. In fact, it's one of the fastest growing plants in the world. Did you know that in the U.S. we throw away 1.5 billion plastic toothpaste tubes every year? They're another huge source of ocean pollution. But now, you can use toothpaste tablets instead. You just pop one in your mouth, chew it up, and it becomes effervescent. Then just brush like you always do.
While the world's superpower countries still try to all get on the same page to preserve the ocean, tiny Monaco has a long history of leading the way. Over 100 years ago, the ruler of Monaco, Prince Albert I, led groundbreaking scientific journeys with a total of 28 expeditions to the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea to his credit. Ever since then, Monaco has been at the forefront of advocacy for the planet. The prince's love of nature was passed on to his son, Prince Rainier III, and ultimately to his grandson, Prince Albert II, now the sovereign ruler of Monaco. His Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation is one of the foremost leaders in efforts to save the ocean and the planet. He has led fact-finding expeditions around the world to bring awareness to the effects of climate change. And in 2006, he became the first head of state in office to reach the North Pole. He returned to the exact spot where his grandfather had stood 100 years before. Using a photo taken of his grandfather's visit, the scientists were shocked by the graphic proof they saw with their own eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, it looks like it's more like 30, 40 years. So it's...
Okay. All right, so we stop right here. That shows one thing. We have to save our ocean. And Prince Albert is taking the lead. And, I hope to get an Oscar next year for this documentary. Now, that is, far away from us, the ocean over there. But this story is close to us. It's happening every day. Today, when I was listening to, Dr. Shi and Mr. Shi, I'm very moved by his story. Single-handedly, he has a dream to reshape a community. And through his, science degree, your science requires you to be disciplined. And then his, honesty to pay loan on time. then he's caring for the community and to feel good when he saw his residents in his buildings happy. He's happy. And he's emotionally involved with his project. So this kind of stories need to be told. And I'm very thank you, Mr. Xu and Professor Rong. You put this together, you put great people together, you put great ideas together, you help build a future together. And this is why we are here. This is my power of storytelling. Story build us. We have done so much, but who knows about it? We have to tell. We cannot be like a little mermaid. She admires her life on land, and she was willing to trade her beautiful voice for a pair of legs. But at a critical moment, it's her voice that should be a defining moment. She lost her voice. She could not tell the truth. Tell the people, I'm the one who has saved the prince and watched the prince to be married to someone else. This can never happen to us. We built this country. We, as immigrants, we brought a lot of resources over here. Our talents, our intelligence, our discipline, our dreams. We built this country. And then this story has to be told in Hollywood. In Hollywood is a dream place, a dream-making place. They controlled the media. So our story has to be told in Hollywood. That's why I created Main Street with everybody participating. Probably, see Miss Wu over there, and she's part of it. And Ji Shaohua is part of it. He played an uncle from Singapore. And this story has to go on. It has to go on. Okay. Now, we watch a little bit, so we end up with joy.
Every
Thank you so much. And when Professor Rong and I and Dr. Joseph in and another one, a great collector, Jeff, in Dubai, we discovered another story, another person, and he's like amazing. One tree turning into a forest, and that is Jackson Chang, and he's very happy to make a donation to our World Film Institute to produce 100 episodes through AI about a story of his life in the desert and how he turned himself from LED import-export to crude oil to a large development. And his story is going to inspire everyone. So here, let's have, Jackson Chang say a few words. Thank you. Thank you so much. And by the way, when we started this program, all of you are invited. 100 episodes, 3 minutes per episode.
Before we come to Dubai, and we start to do some electronic trade business. And then around 5 years later, we start to develop Europe and American market. And from that time, we started to construction and finance more business. Even now, we do the VC company in the United States like Atma Ventures Limited. And from zero to this level, like $10 billion size company, we always struggling many years. Several times we nearly died in several areas, but at last we passed through very suffering time and currently we got $10 billion for our assets. From the year end, we have the confidence to increase our assets to $100 billion, and the company increasing very fast. And now we do many things all over the world, even the technology, everything we do invest on it, and many projects in our hand. Currently, we already have 30 subsidiaries all over the world. To this achievement, I think it's not easy, and from zero, we don't stand on anyone's shoulders. We doing everything one coin by our own hand. It's not an easy job, and we hope our life can encourage all the people in the world to working hard for better life. That's it.
Thank you. So this is what Professor Rong and I have done in the past 45 days. Yeah, we built a fantastic relationship with ultra-billionaires in Dubai. So we welcome everyone for the next trip. By the way, the film festival we planned for $60 million to be held in Dubai now will be moved to Morocco. And it's going to be held in Morocco on April 25 to 30. And if you are going with me, you will be VVVIP. The ticket was sold in China, 250,000, 25万一张票人民币, because we have all the big stars over there. And the summit is going to be world peace. The money raised will be donated to Dubai War Foundation. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jimmy, for doing so much for the community of Flushing and for helping bridging the gap between the United States and China. Talking about celebrities, do you know which celebrity gets the most speeding ticket? Because she's always dashing here and dashing there and getting speeding tickets.
Who is getting speeding tickets?
Kim Kardashian, because she's dashing all the time. Okay, now which celebrity eats most ice cream? Always have a spoon ready. Can you guess which celebrity likes to eat ice cream always with the spoon ready?
You.
It's Reese with the spoon. Always with the spoon. Okay. Because Dr. Ginny Yi is very different from other celebrities. Being a celebrity herself, she helped to contribute to the community of Flushing, and we want to commemorate that. So we now have an award for Dr. Ginny.
Yes, I'd like to say something about that.
By the way, I was I was one of the earliest professors.
One of the earliest one, yes. Oh, sorry, we got some kind of a mic or maybe close. We are presenting a couple of awards. We want to thank her, Dr. E, for presenting. Well, guys, this is an incredible moment. You're looking at some of the these two women are probably the most important people in my life and the most intelligent people in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the first award, Certificate of Honor. Dr. E, you read it. Go ahead. Present the first one.
The Certificate of Honor, Distinguished Leadership in Global Film and Cultural Exchange Award goes to Dr. Jeannie from Boston International Business School.
Thank you. While you get hold of sorry, Professor. And we have a letter of appreciation, Certificate of Honor from the World Speaker Series 2026. Letter of appreciation. This award is proudly presented to Dr. Jeannie Yi from the Boston International Business School. All right, here we go. You have the two golden mic. Dr. George. Like I said, I am very fortunate to work between these two women. Probably the two hardest women in the world to work with, but the sweetest and the most intelligent. So it's an honor and a privilege to work with both of them. You get to learn a lot. The two together, these two women, I think they're so powerful. And they have so many contacts. And of course, Dr. Allen and myself, we stay on the side. We have to give them a good advice, so they stay within the legal field. Right, Doctor? And of course, we get our lawyer from Nigeria, which gives us our own wisdom and law about the South American, the African continent. Thank you very much, George. We thank you for for the hospitality, for your kindness, for your generosity, and for the teaching that you have done tonight to teach a lot of us about real estate. We wish we could follow your footsteps. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Yi, Dr. Rong. We have Dr. Shu and Dr. Ichi, and myself, Dr. Joseph.
Yes. Okay, picture time.
Picture time.
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Miss Wu.
Thank you.
Wu. All right, there we go. Now back to our host.
Next, we have someone who is very interesting. She always goes to the biggest parties, biggest events. She goes to the National Retail Convention. She went to Computer Electronics Show. She attended the Economic Forum at the UN. And she's not tired. She's doing that every day. And she gets so connected. She's a person who is extraordinary. And she's very happy to share with us the experiences of meeting VIPs in these conventions. And she has channels to help small businesses to get into Costco, Walmart. So let's hear from her. Her name is Phoenix Shi from Beijing Hanyang Trading Company. Let's welcome to the stage, Phoenix Shi.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good evening. Let me briefly introduce myself. My work focuses on trading, especially through exhibitions, international trading. I based in Beijing, Toronto, and New York. So I frequently fly several different regions. I engaged in media and business. So this year, I hold some events in Javers Convention Center in New York and Las Vegas, CES. My background, academic background is international. Major is accounting. I lived in Toronto 10 years. For several years, my experience, I realized economics is not only for business, but also is connected with international. It is a bridge connect different countries, cultures. Exhibitions is one of most important taste marketing stage. Some new company, if come to the North America, they want to get feedback from the market, like exhibitions or the mainstream market. So we help the company connect with the local industry or retail channels. So also the experience of the controller here. Previously, I worked in the mainstream English language magazine. Also, I'm vice president in this Mandarin magazine. This is CNE, Canadian National Exhibition. I have booth there. This year, last of January, in the Javers Convention Center, I have booth there. We set up a booth for a Chinese company, and yes, this is related in United Nations. You know this group in United Nations. Currently, I attended events for the CSW, for the Women Festival in the United Nations. I realized exhibitions is far more than products displays. It's a bridge for exchange different cultures. So everybody know China is biggest manufacturing center. Also, in the meantime, North America is the biggest marketing consumer market in the world. If the two strengths connect together, the good opportunity, huge opportunity image. So this is in CES Las Vegas. Only the high technology company like a Robert company, we connect with more than 100 companies. You know, all of products I wear, I eat, healthy products, or I use my clothes, all of clothes and products. I can show you a demo. my customer supply to me. You know, everything made in China. If the new products come to the North American and the testing get the feedback well, we introduce the products go to the mainstream market, like Walmart, Longo's, or Costco, etc. You know, I show you one product. It's just a demo smaller. I give my guest a gift like this. You use the Pepsi charger. You can keep several hours. This is just a gift. And all of healthy products I eat, I wear, I use, like the projectors, or some robotic products. The Chinese supply chain provide the products for our company. Recent months, in coming months, I will back China, attend some major events like Boao Forum and Canton Fair. So we connect with the original factory chain. You know, mostly Chinese made products and use the different brand, the big brand. Hopefully, we call the original equipment manufacturing. Hopefully, in the future, the Chinese brand invest for the Chinese brand. We can spread more information or this is in the summer biggest event in the North America. It's called the FIFA World Cup event. Like this. This is FIFA. It's the biggest event. Connect with the whole North America, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Yes, in the history, no, the three countries the event didn't didn't hosted by three countries together. So we focus on this event. It's not only sports event. It's related entertainment, commercial, media coverage, anything. So during the focus on the event, let us to promote culture and economic, let us to get the culture and economic cooperation in the near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dimitri. And actually, she didn't mention, she knows, okay, in this day and age, a very important thing. She knows the biggest gold mine owners. So, you know, gold will fluctuate, especially when the war in Iran, Iraq, and Israel. She also knows many gold, silver mines, copper mines, the precious metals. She has connection to all of them. So she's big connector. So get to know her and you can realize many of your business dreams, make your business dreams come true. In order to appreciate her, we would like to give her some certificates of appreciation. Please come to the stage. I will give you certificates of appreciation. Yes. So Joseph and Dr. Ugochi, please share the ceremony. Music, please.
present to you distinguished leadership in international business and cultural entrepreneurship award to Phoenix G from Boston International Business School. Congratulations. And also a letter of appreciation, Phoenix G from Boston International Business School. Double congratulations.
OK，红姐快去，红姐。好 ，look here。好 ，yeah，look here。OK。
叫摄影师帮我们照一下，摄影师来，后面一块照一下相，因为你这修的是自己的，
好 ，look here。哎，你上。
赶快来，赶快来！
好 ，look here。
Thank you everyone for staying so late. Announcement. Dinner will be ready when we finish the meeting. Dinner for everyone. So stay back for dinner. So I want to thank you for coming and the participating in the intellectual dialogue. And I will introduce our last keynote speaker. So we have wonderful nights. We have Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller. We also have Dayton Rothschild. And now, our climax of the evening, our keynote speaker, founder of Boston International Business School, and our program founder, initiator, Professor Liang.
Yes. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, let's first hear. Everybody now, we are talking about Boston International Business School. Thank you very much. Everybody here, you know, professors from Boston International Business School. From Alan, visited Boston for the last night, 2025, and the first day, 2026, and Joseph and Jenny last year, 2024. Right? When co-founder Peter Nero visited. Then what is Boston International Business School? Why? When we, not only in Boston, New York, Texas, California, we become partners with so many local leaders. Today is a great example. I'm totally humbled. The business leaders like George can spend the time to teach us, to share with us his story, and the story inspires us all. I think since 2018 to now, and the story started when the Northeastern University put their campus on the market for auction. So for us, we are the beneficiaries, you know, like Jeannie, when we first come to New York, from Big University to come to do what? To study, right? The same thing when I first come to New York, 1995, also come to study, to work and to study. And then when I have a really opportunity, my boss said, Do you want to stay in the US? Do you like it, the opportunity here? I was so impressed the difference back then in 1995, New York and Beijing. Yes, I wanted to stay because the challenge is so huge, and the only opportunity really can overcome those challenges, like George, like Ginny, like so many others, like Joseph. What they did, they went to school. I did the same. I went to Boston, and firstly studied in Harvard Law School, then Harvard Kennedy School, later on Harvard Business School. So if we can accomplish anything, because education gives us the access. So we always wanted to say what we can do to give back. Hello? 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 Listen, okay? Talk later. Classroom. Okay, thank you very much. And so I think that, and inspired by the team in Boston, so we could have the campus. And Jason, maybe show some pictures of campus? Okay. Okay. This campus, how many of you visited? Yeah. Okay. Also Hong Jie, yeah. And also, of course, nowadays we have, this campus 100 years ago was built by the rich merchant who are, made money from New York and want to give back to society. They went to Boston, the capital of the education world. They started university. What university they started? It's Florida University of Technology and Science, and also entrepreneurship school. Roger studied Babson College in Boston. And this house is also historical landmark by the United States. And because, this house, when they first built, was a 600-acre land for one property. So today, it's still 6-acre land. We have a building permit to build. So I talked with Dr. Lily about the possibility for EB5. I learned a lot in the process, possibly not the tier 1, but the tier 2 possibility. And also in the last years, we learned so much for real estate transactions since 1995. When we first come to the US, the school was not free. A lot of people maybe get a scholarship to study science, but not the law school, not the business school. But how we made a possibility to pay these tuitions? Real estate. Boston, just like New York, it's an old city, a lot of properties, and it's below the market value. So that time, possibly you do not have the luxury like George and Dr. Lily. They have, before they started the project, they already have enough equity to do it. So they started, maybe you didn't have enough money. How you did it? You use credit card. You borrow money from credit card. And here's the 10,000, there's another 20,000, there's another 30,000. Then you buy this property, okay? But then after you fix it, the market value doubled. You pay off the loan, you pay off the credit. Okay, you had equity to do next project. Just use this, and I think it's very important for the United States to have the access to the capital, even for the students like us. So from these real estate fundamentals, I think back then, even though the law school and business school courses are heavy, but it's a lot of practical real estate classes. They learn from the winners from real estate. Then you can, gradually you build a, $100 portfolio. So today, and the same thing, we have this campus, but the last 8 years or so, we built a portfolio about 12 dormitory building close to MGH, which is a Harvard medical teaching building, and possibly when Professor Allen come to Boston, stay in one of them, 37 South Russell, when when Jimmy comes, 64 Revere, we can provide a home for our faculty visiting and also for the students visiting from all over the world. But most importantly, last year, we had opportunity to develop partnership with the California universities. So now we can offer MBA degrees to the students, not only in the US and also globally. This time I had the opportunity to travel to Davos. And there we possibly talk with more than 100 participants from all over the world. Everybody say, US maybe have a lot of issues, but I cannot tell you how much I want to go to US because I want to access these top quality educations. And what kind of quality education we have? I have a lot of PPT, possible not to go through it. I just checked this way. And so our faculty actually, the faculty from Harvard, MIT, also Yale, also NYU, Columbia, Stanford, also from University of Texas. Those are the best professors in the world, but they are in partnership with us. Instead of hiring the professor are partners with us. And they are, when I first started a school, it's a school of translation law in China, in Beijing University. Actually, that time, the most difficult thing is to find a good faculty. But when you have a school in Boston, in New York, in Stanford, I was there, Stanford 2 days ago. Right now, we also have a class going on in Stanford. So the professors from Stanford are teaching our students, right? And also the top engineers from OpenAI, from this Microsoft, from Apple, they're teaching our students. So the faculty is the top in the world. When I was in Dubai, I met with a billionaire. In Dubai, it's amazing. I think a lot of people maybe didn't spend a lot of time in Dubai. In Dubai, pretty much every other day, you meet a friend who happened to be a billionaire. You see? And they have a lot of money in their account. What do you talk about? Number one thing is education opportunity, because they have the labor force from more than 130 countries. In order to increase the productivity, they wanted their labor force to have access to US education. They also wanted to have access to US investment market. And it's just, like when I first come from New York to Boston to study, but now from Boston to New York, I bring the resources from Boston to New York. It's complementary, right? And the same thing in California. They want to do things in the East Coast, very advanced in technology. But come to the West Coast, come to the East Coast about the financial capital, then they wanted to work together. So, and today the same thing will happen when instead of doing in Trump Tower, in Harvard Club, or Yale Club, which I always did in the last many years. But now we were working classes in this 4-point hotel. And from our professors, they are partners together. So I think even it's just a step forward, but it's a solid, grounded step forward. So we want our students in the MBA program, it's on many directions. The first direction is real estate. Because our teachers, not only the professor from top school, they are the practitioners. We want the students to really learn the art of investment. They really need to understand how to, understand the art of EB5, how to do the marketing, how to use AI and the real estate interface to do marketing. Not only that, our investment professors, the minimum requirement, listen, Ginny, their qualification, they need to have a $100 million portfolio to be qualified to be our teachers. Why that? The students said, if you didn't make money, you cannot teach me. So in US, actually, the national level, in a regional level, you do not see many, but in national level, the handful portfolio managers, they have more than 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, even 400 million. How long do you build their portfolio? Some people use 10 years, some people use 20 years, some people use 30 years, some people use 40 years, but they are very happy to share the knowledge with you because when they started from credit card. They started from the money they made to dishwasher, they saved it. They could buy real estate. As the time goes on, they build their portfolio. But how they can do it? The team, like today, Georgie and Lily talk about, it's a teamwork. But for them, they already have a 100 million, 400 million, like one of our teachers, Snowy, she has 4,300 apartments, right? And of course, how he do it, she raise money because their reputation is so good. Their performance is so good. They are very attractive to the market. For them to, in order to go to the next level, they need to build their system. The students, when they teach, become comfortable and convinced on the same page as their teachers. So then these students, when the time with us, instead of spend time in the classroom, most importantly, spend time on the field trips, searching for properties to buy. What this property we should buy, what we should not buy, how the finance process works, how the due diligence works, and by the time they graduate, they already finished a lot of transaction hands-on. So the professor wanted to build their team, and which already trained. The students want to learn from top professors and the top practitioners. So if you understand the art of real estate, you will be good. Not only in New York, it could be anywhere in the US, and it could be anywhere in the world. This time in Dubai, I saw just now Jackson. When he first come to Dubai, what did he have? He had nothing almost. He was a teacher, but then he began to learn import and export. But currently he had billions of dollars, right? He will come in possibly a few weeks from now. I would like to together work with Jimmy to let Jackson to share more how he made things work. His famous model is a Z model. Z model works not only for business, also for family relations, also for the governance. It's an amazing book. Ginny and I had the pleasure to work with him. So, okay, now what's the difference? Why we should go to Boston International Business School? I want to go to Harvard, MIT, NYU, Columbia. Why should I go to that? I want to say, not everybody will go to Harvard, MIT, Columbia, but our school is accessible to the people who want to study. And then no matter what kind of level they have, as long as they want to study, they finish their bachelor degree, we're willing to work with them. When they first come, maybe they're not ready. By the time they graduate, they not only get a diploma, which this is acknowledged by the US, China, and the global authorities. That is just basic. But what do they really learn? How to make value-added process. How to get a creation of the values in the process. And that's the key. Another thing is very, very important. Our business school is the AI business school. The first thing they come, we started teaching them business. We send them to Palo Alto, our campus in Stanford. So they need to learn engineering. They need to learn AI. They need to learn computer science. They need to learn the basics as good as an engineer. Today's business world, you not only need to know management, how to do the finance, you need to know engineering. Like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a manager, business manager, great leader, visionary, and most importantly, foundation. He's an engineer. So the first thing, so that's why our business school first is the AI business school, the Town AI. Second, we needed to finish all MBA courses in a very concise way, so we can save the time also to learn investment. So now I'll summarize. In order to be our students, qualified graduates, you need to do three things. First, you are top engineer. In a way, it's the most updated. Second, you need to be a very good manager, team leader. And thirdly, you need to have art of the investment. You learn from the top masters. So another very important thing is a system builder. I think in the time of AI, education got a lot of challenges, especially high ed. How are you going to work on it? So because I think it's a one-person system. If a one-person system, you only have yourself, you're never going to achieve anything. Like tonight we saw George and Dr. Lily. They have a system, they are the core, right? Maybe just 2 people start, but a big system, the building, construction company, and the lenders, all that. But how you, as a person like a genie, one person, how he can make movies, you know? In Hollywood, he can be a star, family world, you know? Go to Dubai for a few months, maybe a few trips. He can get the people convinced to invest, to do the top quality movie festival in the world. The leadership. One person has a core capacity, leadership capacity. Another important thing is a value system. Because nowadays you can maybe have the skill, you maybe have the money, but some people not happy. Why? The understanding of the value system sometimes is too self-focused. So how do you contribute like Dr. Allen? Always, when I was in Dubai, I received more calls from nobody other than Allen. He cares, sincerely care about you. They care about the country states and the contribution to the society, and they sincerely care about each friend's the well-beings. This is a sense of responsibility for the society, for the family, for the community, and also like a professor advisor from Nigeria President Office, you know, divinity thinking. Even without that, no matter how much money you may have, how much skill you may have, you're not happy, right? So I think the happiness, art, the value system, they're so fundamental. So 5 toolbox. Number one, you need to be a best engineer, you need to be a good manager in terms of management, and a good investment manager, good and leadership system, the good value system. So with this, I want to say, why I'm doing this globally, from Davos to Berlin, Berlin to Rome, Rome to Istanbul, Istanbul to Dubai, Dubai to Asia, then California, Texas, Boston, New York. Why we do this? We look for partnerships. Because nobody can do everything, but partnerships together can do a lot. So I think Professor Joseph will say, Gloria, you're in Korea like 5 days, how you can open a branch? My classmate from Harvard Business School, who they are? They are the chairman for GE Korea. They are the chairman for Pepsi Korea. They are the chairman for IDG Korea. They are the chairman for the best venture capitalist firm in Korea. When I come to talk about what PIBS stands for, they say, I'm the chairman for Korea. I will work on to set up the operation. I will put the fund. I know the Korean market. I know the Asian market. Let's do this together. They are coming soon. I told them about the EB5 and our project. They are very interested. So they plan to come next 2-3 weeks. I very much want to say, our business school not only theory, but it need to be applied. We need to deliver results. We want to see more buildings of a Century Group to be built because of our students' participation, our faculty participation, and the students will be best graduates when they're ready because they learn from not only the professors but from the masters from New York and beyond. So with this, I want to conclude this. The dinner is waiting for us, and we have the best closing prayer. Let's welcome and this closing prayer. Thank you very much.